Right, are we
I
good?
feel like this is a little better. Not by a lot, but...
Do you need body keeps the score?
Get another book.
Holy shit.
This is our first podcast ever. I'm Heather Scott, and I am here with Tristan Shae, slurring his name when I'm not sloshed yet.
Yeah.
It's not 5 o'clock. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But this is our first podcast together, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Like two white people with a podcast.
Yeah, that's what the world
needs. Exactly.
We'll get some diversity on here eventually.
We will.
We'll appropriate some culture.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is already better than I could have imagined.
It'll be fine. You know.
Took us like 3 hours just to get to this.
Yeah. We should have done it behind the scenes, honestly.
We should have made
that would have
a
been
video.
probably more entertaining than the whole.
Yeah.
Like going to Kroger.
Yeah.
Wait, it would have been like 30 minutes later.
30 minutes.
And then we're just like in an aisle.
You're right. We should have just done that like Wes Anderson.
White cheddar popcorn.
Like getting white cheddar popcorn. Can you see my eyes?
I can see your left eye.
That's hilarious.
Your right eye is completely blacked out.
I'm concealing my identity.
Yeah. For employment purposes.
Shh. We're gonna have to cut that. No, we'll keep it in. We'll keep it in.
Say what the employment was.
Yeah, we'll keep it in. We'll just keep it in. I'm just like hiding my identity for now.
We can talk about my employment. My employment's like a big deal about this.
Maybe
podcast.
this is like the fucking longest fucking intro ever.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about like what we're all about? So Tristan, tell me what's your day job? Tell me about
my
that.
day job is I am a therapist for mental health. That's as like specific as I'll be about it. But yeah.
And I am just a comedian.
Just a comedian.
I'm just a comedian.
You're so successful. That pays all of your bills.
I'm just such a successful comedian.
You are. If you haven't heard of Heather Scott, you obviously don't know comedy.
If you haven't heard of Tristan Shae, then obviously you're mentally not ill enough.
Stable.
You're stable.
You're stable.
So basically the whole premise of this podcast is that Tristan is a mental health professional and I am a comedian. And we just want to talk about the idiosyncrasies of life together.
Yeah.
And just our take.
Trying to use humor in a way that's like not distracting from problems. It's actually like working through problems. Because you can do that. I don't know.
Yeah, just like dark humor, everything like that.
My professional opinion is you can laugh.
Tristan is also a very funny person.
Yeah, I'm a comedian too.
Tristan is also a comedian.
If you want to call me that.
Just like a sad clown, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very sad clown.
A sad clown. That's actually my counselor bio. It's on the website.
Sad clown, Tristan.
Do you want to be talked to, or do you want to talk to a sad clown who's going to help you with your problems? Who doesn't want a sad clown?
Who doesn't want a sad clown to be your therapist that slowly honks a horn at you?
It's just like...
Every single time, like, and then my mom died, I'd be like, eat, like, but like a sad beep beep. Like, honk his nose. Okay.
If they start crying, I just like squirt them with the flour that's on my shirt. Like
that's like, you're like, this is how I cry.
I cry through the flour.
Oh my gosh. So stupid.
No, what's even better is like if they're crying.
What do you mean it's better?
Pull the napkin out of the pocket, and I'm like, here you go. And it's like infinite tissues.
Oh my god. Infinite tissues to wipe their tears away.
Yeah.
Especially when they have to pay a medical bill for a clown therapist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway.
That's why we started this podcast, so I don't do that to people in real life.
Yeah. We really wanted to just like, me and Tristan are very good friends. We met in comedy.
Yeah.
And me and him just talk about like the strangest, most interesting stuff. And we're like, we just need to record our conversations. And as the two entitled white people, we thought everyone else would also like to hear this.
Yeah, it's.
I'm also bending over in a strange way to like hit this mic, so like I'm
gonna be
hunched over. I'm like hunched over. I don't know how this looks on video.
We're not privileged enough to have like boom arms.
I might actually get like another book because I'm like really bending over right now.
Do we need to like pause the magic of post?
I don't know.
Go get a book.
I don't know. Can we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back with books.
All right.
That's how good our production value is that we don't have mic stands, we just have books.
Yeah, we just have books.
It's because
and
we're
like
well-read.
and just like
Educated individuals.
Oh wait, let's.
We were already back.
But my glasses, I had to put my glasses back on.
Oh, that's right. Okay, concealing the identity.
You know it's not gonna conceal anything.
No, everybody knows who you are.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah.
Not really. It's pretty hard to forget me.
Memorable.
Not like memorable in the worst way, I think.
I think that's notorious. Like,
okay, well, look at you being good. You're being such a therapist right now. You're like, Heather, you're
notorious.
Heather, you're notorious. You're notable. Everyone will remember you. You're so memorable. You're just like infamously famous.
Infamously.
Yeah, you're like you're like Heather. Use yourself like positive self-talk.
Like backhanded affirmations.
Basically, you're so notorious.
That's basically like being a comedian and a therapist is just giving a bunch of backhanded affirmations.
Oh my god, yeah. I think we were gonna try to get into why we do this or our background more. Or were we gonna do a little more? Okay, let's do this.
Like why are we
here?
Why
do you care?
It's an existential podcast.
Yeah. Tristan, what made you want to start comedy, man?
What made me want to start comedy?
Yeah.
So this is going way back. I grew up homeschooled.
Just hiding in your mom and your like bullies were your own parents.
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't interrupt you like your mom did.
Every day. So yeah, I grew up homeschooled, very like sheltered kind of household, but for some reason my parents would let me like watch stand up and listen to stand up. And it was always this like window into a world that I didn't get to see a whole lot of. And I was like, people can talk about this kind of thing and like other people listen to it and other people laugh. And like it was the only thing that the only way that I like heard people talk about like basically like sex. Oh my god. It was like,
but like who were the comedians they let you watch?
So I watched a lot of them. Like I remember Brian Regan was one because he's like more clean. I remember seeing one time we watched like an HBO special. It was like Dane Cook.
Okay.
Who were some of the other ones that I used to watch? It was usually like clips. It was like short clips. Cause like, do you remember like when XM or like Sirius or whatever was like more of like a thing? And so they had like the comedy channel, and we'd be on like a long drive to like a hockey trip or whatever. Yeah. And they'd just be like, I wouldn't even know who these people were, but they'd just be like, I remember this one like Dane Cook bit where it was like about like basically like an atheist who believed that like when he died he was going to turn into a tree. And then he was like I hope that someday like he's right. I hope that he's right. He's like he's in the forest, and they like this sweaty guy with an axe comes and like chops it down, and they print the Bible on him. And like as a kid growing up in like a homeschooled like Christian house, you're just like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Now I'm like, that's questionable, you know. That
is hilarious. So do you think your parents let you listen to the comedians and that's that was your sexual education? Like, do you think they were just like, we don't know how to talk about it, so we'll let someone make absurd jokes?
If we want to go down the rabbit hole of my sex ed,
we don't have to. But I feel like that's going to be a whole segment on its own.
Yeah.
Because I went to a public high school, and my sex ed was also very non-existent. And then when I met my current boyfriend and I told him about just things I knew, he was like, what do you mean you think it's like this? I'm like, yeah, that's what they told me. He goes, what? And I was like, high school. He was like, oh my god, what did they teach you? I was like, probably not. They didn't teach me nothing. All right, they were a conservative bunch. That's okay.
Yeah, learning sex ed from conservatives is just an interesting way to learn that, because it's like I had to get here somehow. Like, you people know, right?
You're not telling me something, Mom and Dad. Why didn't you tell me?
Right. there's like so much that they try to keep like under the covers.
Oh my god.
Literally.
Try to just keep it all, and then gotta be married for that, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta be married and
Married, missionary.
Missionary.
We need a third M.
Right. Marginalized. I don't know. It's like
married, marginalized, missionary sex.
Yeah, women are
That's what
marginalized
conservatives
by
are.
our everyday society. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway, where were we?
that you were talking about
About
how
I got into
like
comedy.
why you got the comedy. This is not going to be a coherent podcast.
It never will be.
I love that.
It never will be.
I love that.
Yeah. So I listened to like a lot of comedians growing up, and then like anything that I've ever gone through has like always been easier to get through by joking. Like my family didn't talk about things.
Oh my god.
Like it was just like you just make a joke about it.
It's like grandma died and you're just like in the next day, like grandma lived with you and grandma died, and then you just like have a grandma shaped hole in like the bed she used to sleep in. They're just like they wouldn't say anything to you.
Right. And it's just like but someone would just say like, I don't know, what's that? I'm trying to improv like a joke about like let's do that. Let's improv that. I'm 6-year-old me. Okay, you be my mom.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm coming down the
Oh
stairs
my
and
God.
grandma just died yesterday.
Oh my god. Okay.
Good morning, Mom.
Hey, sweetie. Did you finish your homework?
No, I'm a little bit sad that Grandma's gone.
Oh, well, she just went to go. She went to a farm.
A farm?
She went to a farm, honey, and she's gonna live with Mr. Fluffy, and she's gonna live with Grandpa on the farm, and they're gonna
Grandpa's gonna go to the farm too?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you about your other grandpa. Yeah, and then they'll all be together, and they'll just be running through the forest together.
Can I go to the farm?
One day you will, sweetie. And scene.
That's how it was.
Oh my god, that was literally. Are you serious? That's how it was for you? No. Okay. I was like, oh my god, that's like no wonder you're so emotionally stunted.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm the emotionally stunted one. We both know that.
I had to do a lot of like catching up, and I think that's what motivated me to be a therapist. Is that, like, I was like, I need to figure out how people are supposed to work, and I just educated myself like through years of college.
Yeah.
How people work.
I educated myself by just being around other people, and it sucked. Like I tell Tristan all the time, I was like, oh yeah, and then like I was in college and I went to like a party and I did this, and he was like, what's a party?
I was like,
I never left my house.
Legitimately, like
he's like, I've never been to a party. What's that like? I'm kidding.
I know, like partying like people do in high school and college and stuff. I've never been to a party like that. Like I went to a birthday party once when I was 19. That was the first time I got drunk. But it was like it wasn't like, it was all dudes.
Oh.
It was like a party of like 6 dudes.
It's still a party.
It is.
It's still a party.
But it's not like...
It wasn't probably a fun party. You guys probably just
really
talked about like chicks and getting drunk.
Movies.
Oh.
Because I was in film school.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Homeschool and film school. That pipeline was...
Pipeline. Tristan went to film school. I feel like we just need to do like a whole entire another like just background of like our experiences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But what made... I guess currently, like what... Because I haven't been
right.
in stand-up
Because,
for a while.
yeah. So you watched a lot of people growing up.
Yeah.
Doing stand-up comedy, but then what made you take the final plunge?
I kind of forgot about it. Like, honestly, I didn't like think of it as something that I wanted to do until I started listening to comedy podcasts. And then I was like, when I realized that like people were, like that was their life. They go up on stage, they tell their jokes, they hang out with other people who tell jokes, and they just like make money off of like being an idiot all the time. And I was like, I'm not getting paid enough for how much of an idiot
Tristan is like, I am such an idiot, I should get paid for this.
I need to monetize how stupid I am.
Oh my gosh. And then you showed up.
And now started out doing improv.
We met at improv.
Yeah. We need to save that story.
Okay,
That's a whole episode.
We'll save that story
for another time. What made you want to do comedy?
That like I didn't have like such a clear trajectory. Like I listened to comedians and blah blah blah. Actually,
you don't know who anybody is.
No, I am like so. It's hilarious, but I literally don't know that many famous comedians. Like the two people you just mentioned, I have no idea who they are.
So we're
and it's so it's so like what comedians does Heather not know?
I'm gonna pull
That's
up like
gonna be
two
a
random
bit.
people.
That's gonna be
and it's gonna
good.
be like one is a comedian.
It's like,
which one is the comedian?
Yeah, I'm pretty bad, but like I always thought I was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was an ugly kid. I was overweight and no one really liked me, and I was like kind of like the weird autistic person.
This is past tense?
Shut the fuck up. Well, I'm better at it. I'm better at hiding it now. I don't care anymore. But like I was kind of like, I would say I was kind of like an outcast a little bit, and then like I feel like I don't know if I just like developed humor to like deal with it. To cope. I don't know. I just always knew I was funny. Like I was just like, I think I'm funny. People would always laugh, and then I saw some people on stage talking, and I was like, I could do that. So I started doing stand up. Like I did a few open mics like in 2018 and 2019, and then the pandemic happened, and then I didn't really go back until like November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to improv because I was interested in a little bit, and so I started doing improv, and that's how I got back into stand-up, and just like being funny and meeting interesting people that are also hilarious, such as Tristan. He's fun to laugh at. Laugh with.
I'm a good butt end of the joke.
I won't make jokes about your butt. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have like some sort of like inspirational, like, oh, this person inspired me. No, I mean, there's probably something that inspired me, but I can't remember. I have a bad memory. I can't even remember now.
How did you know that stand-up was a thing that people did? Like, you had to have heard somebody doing it.
I really would have to think really hard about it. Like, I really can't remember. I don't know if I saw one person I was like, yeah, like that person inspired me, whatever. I'm also like very theatrical.
Right.
I go like, oh my God, my Lord, help me, sir. And then I just do that in real life. And people would be like, you're so strange and funny. And I was like, I thought to myself, I would be a good actor. Like I think I was a theater kid that was never in theater. That's what we say about people in improv. They're theater kids that were never in theater.
A lot of them were in theater.
And a lot of them were in theater, but most, like, if you come to it later in life, you were just a theater kid. You realize later you should have been a theater kid.
I mean, that's me. That's why I went to
Yeah.
I didn't have a theater program.
Yeah.
It was just my brother and me being idiots.
Yeah.
Like, we would come up with scenes and stuff all the time. That's where, like, the improv and sketch kind of stuff came from. It's like my brother and I would do that. Like, just every day. Like, we just, like, think of, like, a whole situation, and, like, nobody else would even get it.
Exactly.
It's just our own little thing.
I love to come up like with the most weird, intense stories. Like, and then your grandma died, and then you actually really had to go to the Pirates of the Caribbean, Black Pearl, to find the hidden treasure, and like I'd just go on these tangents, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?" So I think my main thing is like I always liked storytelling, and I love books and I love reading. Obviously, nerd outcast here. And I think part of it is also like I see it as like a form of storytelling, and I love stories. Like I will always ask. I love stories, and I think that's why I was like, oh, being a comedian is kind of like being a storyteller.
It is being a storyteller.
Yeah, and I love that.
Some of it's real.
I also love the attention it gives me.
Yeah.
When people laugh.
Well, that's what you're
at
like.
Something you said.
You're like, what was like the big push? And I was like, I think it was just being attention starved.
Yeah, it was like attention starved as a child, or like it feels like a certain kind of like acceptance you never really got from people in your life.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, man, you are so funny, and when someone like you do it you're a hit, like you tell all these jokes, everyone laughs, then someone comes up to you after a show and they're like, wow, you're hilarious, keep up the good work. And I was like, oh my God.
See, what's really funny though is that like it is for the affirmation. Like that's a big part of it.
I mean, literally it is. And like
but then when someone will give me a compliment like after a show, I don't know what to do with it. So then I'm confused on why I'm even doing stand up, because it's for the attention, and then someone gives me attention.
No, I love the compliments.
I'm just like,
I bask in that. I masturbate to those later. I love those compliments.
Yeah.
Was that too bad? Was that too dirty? We can cut it out.
I think we keep it. Keep it. We said it already.
Yeah, you like that joke? Yeah, you like it?
Maybe that will cut out. Yeah, have we covered why we're here?
Yeah, oh my god. What's...
I honestly don't know how long we've been recording so far.
Me neither.
We'll just keep going.
Let's keep going. That's
the gist of it.
That's the gist. I mean, we got really serious for a second, or at least I did. I didn't expect myself to get that serious.
Well, and that's the emotional roller coaster. You know, it gets super serious, and then you're like, I have to make a masturbation joke.
Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
balance it out.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be
That's
very serious. I don't know. I feel like this podcast is going to bring out a certain part of my personality I did not expect.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know.
making fat noises in a mic. You can't do clean comedy though. Like, you've talked about that.
I can or can't.
You cannot.
I cannot do clean comedy. Like, if someone held a gun to my head and was like, Heather, tell a joke that doesn't involve any sexual innuendos, no, like, nothing dirty, nothing raunchy, no swear words, I would be shot on sight. Like, I wouldn't...
You would be like, fuck, and then I'd shoot you immediately.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd probably just, they like, don't say one swear word. I'd be like, well, listen here, you. I don't know.
Okay, so, like, if gun to your head, you knew you could not... You could not get out of that. What's your go-to phrase that's going to get you killed in that situation?
What is my go-to phrase to get myself
killed?
Like, the what is the one thing I would say?
Because it's like, you're going to die anyway. So
what would be, like, my last words?
Yeah, what would be your last words that
to make a joke? Okay, but, like, I don't know. I need, like, a scenario. What's the scenario? Is it, like, they broke into my house and, like...
Yeah, so...
Like, what's this? Give me a scenario. Quick, like, you broke into my house.
The Westboro Baptist Church has taken over a comedy.
Oh, no.
And everything has to be super clean.
Everything has to be super clean.
Yeah, super clean, super Christian.
And then they just, like...
And they're like, Heather, like, do a set right now. To give me, give me a type 5 of clean comedy.
Oh, my God.
No swear words allowed.
Oh, my God. No, not the gun. Please.
And you're like... So then you're like, I can't do it. What's your
God.
phrase?
What's my phrase? I feel... I'm like...
I don't have to...
The gun. Don't do the gun. It's making me nervous. Okay. Like, oh my God, this is
you're
so
on
real.
The spot.
Oh my God.
You know these people love guns.
They love guns, and then they said I can't do clean comedy, and I'll be like, well, Jesus liked it up the ass.
There we go.
Boom, I'm dead. I don't know.
It would be. I do think the joke would change depending on who's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like if it's like a dude, and I'll be like, okay, let's just say like let's do it again. Like if it's a guy that's like a priest, I'd be like,
yeah, he's got the collar.
I'd be like, listen, I know you're upset. I'm better in bed than you. Your wife told me. Your wife told me I'm better in bed than you.
I don't know if that's dirty enough. Would that be dirty enough to get you killed, you think?
I think if I implied that I fucked his wife better than him, yeah, I think that would be enough to kill. Maybe. Yeah. Or maybe he'd just be like, he would be like trying to throw me in jail, but then like he like raped me out in the middle of the night and then be like, I want to watch.
Yeah, that's how that would really go. You wouldn't get killed on the spot. I think that's where I was like,
okay.
Where I was getting to in my head is I'm like, no, you just now made yourself a unicorn.
Yeah. Okay, wait, okay.
What's
Tristan.
Is this
I'm gonna kill you right now. Like I'm a priest, and I broke into your house. I'm threatening your life because I heard you talk bad about Jesus.
As I'm known to do. What's my phrase?
See, it's not good to be put on the spot, is it?
It's so difficult.
Tell me.
I think I would go with like something along the lines of like.
This is like the worst. I'm gonna stop doing it. That was bad.
Like you steaming pile of like shit at a Satan's asshole or something. I would like.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. That's better than mine.
That's how you really get to.
Yeah, I think I would just
Christians. I feel like none of that. I don't know if we can use any of that.
No, I think we'll have to cut that out.
We would just offended probably like 90% of people.
You think 90% of people are Christians?
I don't know. 90%.
Yeah,
of
no.
people
Let's like. Yeah, we probably have to cut that out. Okay, let's do. Yeah, we're gonna talk a little more about why we got into comedy, or are we gonna kind of cut it off here?
Yeah, let's go back to why don't we go back to what we're like, why we got into comedy, and like what we want
Okay.
the podcast to be.
Yeah. So why again? We're going back to like, why should you care about what we have to say?
Why should you keep listening?
Why should you keep listening?
Why should you click that little bell
Ding.
icon?
Ding ding ding.
We need a ding. We'll put a ding.
Ding. Anyway, it's just like I
Maybe we
want
should put
like
a
the
dong.
I want the dong. I want like the deepest male voice possible, and the guy's just like dong dong dong. It's just like us,
Click the dong.
like the two most
Dong
effeminate
dong.
looking people. Anyway, so I think we should just really talk about why, like, we want to have guests.
We'll have guests.
We want to talk about like why they have mental health issues.
Yeah.
We just want to joke about, hey, what is something you're going through, and how can we help you go through it? Like, tell us about, like, we can make jokes for you, we can make you laugh. We're too interesting looking people to watch.
Yeah.
In different senses.
In different senses.
We
We really need a Patreon.
do need a Patreon.
We need
to just
something
feed
behind the
Tristan's
paywall.
feet pictures.
Yeah.
Not mine, Tristan's.
I am actually barefoot right now.
Actually, so
You're
am
not gonna be
I.
able to see that.
Yeah, you blur out our feet whenever we walk away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to just have jokes, have a good time, and have guests like from all walks of life, other comedians. Like,
Mental
maybe
health
we'll get a
professionals.
pastor on here,
Maybe.
like business owners, like a massage.
Pastor.
I don't know, why not? Like somebody that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we talk about religious trauma with them,
Maybe.
or not.
If we,
Tristan would be too triggered.
it'd be interesting to talk to somebody who's like very like
That walks the faith.
that walks the walk,
Walks the walk.
and I can be like, what's that like still?
What's that
doing
like
that.
to actually like have faith in humanity and like
Yeah.
something like a greater power? What is that like?
Because we're just like bitter.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
Bitter.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
Bitter.
I'm not bitter.
I'm not bitter, but I'm better.
I'm not bitter. I'm better. No, I don't have like this. Me and Tristan loves talking about like religious trauma, and I'm just like that sounds rough, buddy. I have like some trauma, but I'm not like that traumatized by religion.
Yeah.
We should probably have to cut this out too.
You have different. I think everybody has different trauma.
Yeah.
Like, you have different trauma.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe if that's requested, we could talk about it, but
Yeah.
I don't-
It doesn't make.
I don't kiss and tell, baby.
That's one thing with combining like mental health and comedy. Like, if you're using trauma that you're not healed from, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like a very fine line between like you actually basically trying to like you healed or you're healing and you make jokes about it versus like re-traumatizing yourself over
Yeah.
and over again, and
And
like
nobody wants to hear that.
nobody wants to hear you talk about like really weird, deep, crazy stuff, and then it makes people uncomfortable. And maybe that's why we're doing this. Really, I'm being 100% serious right now. Is because we want to destigmatize. I can't believe I'm using that word. We want to destigmatize just like hard conversations, taboo subjects. Like, that's what comedy is also all about. Is like taking taboo things like death or like, I don't know, like just like create like stuff, and then they just make jokes about it because people are so uncomfortable. But like, that's another reason why mental health is such like a big thing right now, especially after the pandemic, is because people don't know how to have these conversations.
Yeah.
People really don't.
Well, and I think it's the pandemic helped people be a little bit more open about it.
Oh,
because
for sure.
everybody had this like collective trauma
Yeah.
that it's like we could all relate to.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Is like, if you're going to talk about trauma, like it has to be like things people can relate to, or in a way that's like palatable for people. And like
Yeah.
the pandemic, man, that was like, we can all understand that.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the pandemic because we're all sick of that.
We're also
But we're going to talk about anything we want.
anything we want.
And you can come for the ride, or you can block us forever, but I'll find you.
We will.
Well, tune in next time, guys, for the Comedic Behavior Therapy podcast, or CBT podcast, with Heather Scott and Tristan Shae.
Yeah.
I slurred that again.